We're going to take a look at factors. Factors are widely used in statistical analysis in R because it gives us different levels of a particular variable, especially when we're doing regressions and we're trying to control for particular variables. We want to do some comparison between the different levels. So it's a special type of data structure in R because what it does is it provides a numerical representation of categorical data, which could be text or numbers, it doesn't matter. So we have a couple of examples on the right here. We have gender, male and female. So let's assume that we have a column of data that has male and female, and we were going to create it as a factor. What it will do is you will still see male and female, but the internal representation will be 1 and 2. It'll be numerical values. The same with cities. We have Atlanta, Chicago, New York. So the cities are 1, 2, and 3 if we created it as a factor. Using factors makes it easy to deal with these variables without creating dummy-coded variables. So for those of you who are familiar with other statistical packages, you might have to create additional columns to dummy code them as 1 or 0. In some cases, for example, for Atlanta, Chicago, and New York, you'd have to create a column for Atlanta and it would be a 1 or a 0, yes or no that it was Atlanta. Or Chicago, and another one for Chicago, yes or no for Chicago. So types of factors as examples could include gender, as we had above, cities, and even rank. And you'll notice the rank example below, I have a rank of 1, 2, and 3. I'll create them as a factor, even though they're already numeric. But what it does is it allows R, when it's running regressions, to treat them as these dummy variables or control codes. So this is the difference between a qualitative and a quantitative variable. And we have a module later on that will discuss that. So how do we create a factor? If we're going to create a factor, we're going to use the factor function. For each value in the variable, it will assign an integer from 1 to the number of unique items. So in the example of gender, we have 2 items. We will get 2 numbers starting from 1 and then 2. In the case of cities, we will go from 1 to 3 because there are 3 cities. The numerical values are assigned in alphabetical order. So in the case of Atlanta, Chicago, New York, Atlanta's first, it will be 1. Each unique value of a factor is called a level, and we can rearrange them if we want. So if we don't want them in alphabetical order, we can actually rearrange them, or what we call relevel, using the relevel function. So here's an example of using a factor. So we have our factor, and in this case, we have this C, which is a concatenation, which will actually create a vector. So we have a vector of some values, medium, low, medium, medium, high, low, high. And we're going to factor it. So the quantity variable has 7 values with 3 levels, high, low, and medium, and it will be in that order. There are 3 special functions, levels, and relevel. Levels provides the levels of a given variable, tells you what levels there are, and levels will give you the number of levels of a given variable, so it will just return an integer. And relevel, with a little bit more detail, will allow for releveling based on a different order. You'll pass in the order, and then it will refactor that entire variable.